Thank you for spending part of your morning with us here on Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant, in for Ted Rollins today, who is on assignment. You'll see him a little while later on the broadcast. Convicted killer Scott Peterson is who we're talking about today. He could be getting a brand new trial. He was found guilty, you may recall, back in 2004 for the murder of his beautiful wife Lacey and their unborn son. But his lawyers say that his conviction should be thrown out over issues over juror misconduct. The original hearing to present final arguments to the court was delayed back in June because of COVID-19 reasons. Now the attorneys for both sides will be meeting again tomorrow for one last time before the court makes its final decision on whether Peterson should get a whole new trial. Court TV anchor Ted Rollins takes a look back at this tragic case.
Scott Peterson back in court 18 years after his double murder conviction for killing his wife Lacey and unborn son Connor. Now 49, Peterson is asking for a new trial because of this woman. Juror number 7, Rochelle Nice, nicknamed at trial Strawberry Shortcake.
My heart goes out to both families, and it was hard. It was hard seeing the families.
The California Supreme Court, which already overturned Peterson's death sentence, has instructed a lower court judge to decide if Nice committed juror misconduct and, if so, if Peterson deserves a new trial. On her juror questionnaire, Nice claimed she'd never been a victim of a crime or involved in a lawsuit. But 3 years before the Peterson trial, her boyfriend was arrested after she told police he hit her. And in the year 2000, she obtained a restraining order against a woman she claimed was threatening her and her unborn child, writing to the court that the woman put stress on her unborn child and the stress caused her to have early contractions. Nice now claims she lied and was never hit by her boyfriend and made up the threats to her unborn child.
She indicated she'd never been the victim of a crime. She'd never testified in court, which she had. She'd never been a party to a lawsuit, and she was. So the jury questionnaire had false information.
Peterson's defense team claims Nice was a stealth juror who lied to get selected because she was obsessed with the case and wanted Scott to be found guilty. They say Nice referred to Lacey and Scott's unborn son Connor as Little Man, which they claim was her own son's nickname.
Little Man was the hardest for me. Little Man, that's what I call him, Connor. That was the hardest for me. Because, as I said, that was his daddy who did that. You know, his daddy should have been the protector of him. And instead, he took his life.
The defense also points to these letters she wrote to Peterson in prison after his conviction. On March 8th, 2005, she writes, "She was just tossed in the bay like a piece of trash, like she never mattered in life, but she did, and you robbed her and your beautiful son of a life." In another letter, she writes, "You would have loved being a dad, Scott. I wish you would have just tried. You and Lacey would have been wonderful parents." Then this letter on December 17th, 2005. "I wanted to let you know that I had a breakdown and am in a hospital on a locked, crazy unit. I never knew how much this trial had an impact on me." Nice claims she was never out to get Peterson.
Scott's appeal lawyers are making up this story that I did not lie to get on this trial to fry Scott. I did not. That was not my intention.
Prosecutors argue the evidence at trial was overwhelming and there's no proof that this one juror swayed the entire jury into a guilty verdict. Meanwhile, Peterson's defense team and family are convinced that if he does get a new trial, he'll never be convicted.
I am confident that Scott will never be convicted again.
Why not?
Just because of the body of evidence we have. The difference in the evidence we have from his first trial to this trial, you will never see a jury convict Scott Peterson of murder again.
And Court TV anchor Ted Rollins will be there in California for tomorrow's hearing for Scott Peterson. He'll be doing some reporting throughout the day today, and we'll have live updates for you throughout the shows as we are waiting to see if Scott Peterson will in fact get a whole new trial. It is a possibility. Let me bring in my guests now, see what they think. They're both former prosecutors, current criminal defense attorneys in the private sector, attorney Sue Ann Robinson in Fort Lauderdale and attorney Josh Ritter in Los Angeles. Josh, to you first on this one, please. Knowing what you know about the case, the procedural history, where we are at this point, and California law, tell me, do you think it's likely that Scott Peterson will get a new trial?
I think what we're going to find here is that the judge will find that there was misconduct by this juror. I mean, I find it hard to believe that this juror wasn't either being intentionally evasive in the way that she answered these questions, but it's hard for me to believe that she would not recall some of these major life events as she's filling out this questionnaire. And it seems like she was very interested in being on the jury. But the better question, and the question that I don't think the judge will find, is did she then have such an impact on those other 11 jurors who were in that room deliberating that swayed them in such a way that you have to throw out this conviction now and grant this man a brand new trial? That is a much more difficult weight to carry, and I don't know if they've reached it in this case. We recall recently there was a similar issue in the Ghislaine Maxwell case where a juror had similarly kind of left some information out, got onto that jury, and actually did try to persuade some of those jurors, and the judge in that case didn't find that it was enough. So I don't think that we'll find enough of a nexus between her misconduct and the actual conviction and verdict in this case.
Appreciate it, Josh. Sue Ann Robinson, just for the sake of our analysis here, let's just say the court does say, you know what, this was bad enough that we're going to grant him a new trial. Do you think that would help his situation any? Why or why not, please?
I think the evidence in the first trial was so overwhelming, and the case itself is so graphic and so horrible. Whenever we have cases where a husband, someone in a trusted position, murders their own wife and child, it's just heart-wrenching, difficult for the jury, difficult to understand why someone would ever be in that position. And I don't think that in the first trial, he had much of a defense.
Right. Right, Sue Ann. You both are making excellent points here. You know, even if the judge makes that leap, like you pointed out, Josh, I don't know that he's going to be any better off if he goes again. But we shall see. Not up for us to decide, but great discussing it with you both. Sue Ann Robinson, I know we have to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for being on the program this morning.